Hi there, it's me again, Sir Ed. So welcome to another video for quadratic functions and its graph parabola. So as you can see, meron tayo ditong apat na pictures. Okay, we have four pictures here that shows a curve. Okay, so pakita lang natin yung curve. So for this, so andito sa basketball, as you can see, the ball travels a curved path. No? The valley shows a curve path too. Tapos yung arc ng simbahan, meron ding curve path. Okay. Yung squinty eyes ng baby, meron ding curve. And also the smile of the baby. So ang tawag natin sa mga curve na yan, we call it as parabola. Okay, so those are parabola. Now let's go to the objectives. Okay, so at the end of the lesson, you are expected to illustrate quadratic functions, to graph quadratic functions, to appreciate the real-life application of quadratic functions. Now let's go to different terms, different terms involving quadratic function and its graph. Okay, so quadratic function, the definition is one of the form f of x, ang basa natin dito class is f of x, equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. Okay, so itong yellow dito, this is the general or standard form of quadratic function. Meron din tayong vertex form. Okay? So, kailangan din yung a is not equal to 0. Kasi kapag si a equals to 0, then it means the function is not quadratic but a linear function. Okay, so the graph of quadratic function is a curve called parabola. So yung mga nakita natin dito, yung mga pictures na to, these pictures shows parabola. Okay, which is the graph of quadratic function. So ibig sabihin, kapag meron kayo nakitang parabola, then ang function nun or ang equation nun is quadratic. Okay? Okay. The value of A indicates the opening of the parabola. If the value of A is positive, then the parabola opens upward. And if the value of A is negative, then the parabola opens downward. So yung A daw, ito daw yung magsasabi kung saan ang opening ng parabola. Okay? Kapag ang A daw ay positive, then ang parabola ay mag-open upward. Kapag ang A naman ay negative, then ang parabola ay mag-open downward. Okay, now let's go to the different parts of parabola. Okay, so ito yung parabola natin, yung curve. Then, yung tuldok na nasa pinakagitna ng parabola, ang tawag natin doon is vertex. Then we also have the x-intercept and y-intercept, and also the vertical line which we call axis of symmetry. Now let's go to the vertex. Vertex is the minimum point of parabola if a is greater than 0 or if a is positive. And the maximum point of the parabola if a is less than 0 or if a is negative. Okay? So we have here two parabolas. Minimum kapag ang vertex natin ay nasa baba. Okay? Maximum kapag ang vertex natin ay nasa taas. So kung makikita nyo, kapag ang opening ng parabola is upward, ang vertex natin ay nasa baba or minimum. Kapag ang parabola naman natin mag-open downward, then ang vertex natin ay nasa pinakatuktok, tapos siya naman ay maximum. No? Ito naman ay maximum. Then the coordinates are h, k. Huwag kayong makakonfuse or malilito dito sa h, k. Yung h, this is x, while k, ito naman yung y. Okay? So yun yung coordinates ng vertex natin. Okay, now let's go to the axis of symmetry. Now, when we say axis of symmetry, this is the vertical line x equal h that divides the parabola into two equal parts. So, yan. Yung axis of symmetry, dadaan yan doon sa vertex natin. Okay? Tapos, hinahati nito ang parabola into two equal parts. No? Into two symmetrical parts. Ayan. Next, let's go to x-intercept. Now, when we say x-intercept, the point or points where the parabola intersected the x-axis. Okay. So, ito yung x-axis natin, di ba? Yung horizontal line. Okay. Kung saang point tumama ang parabola sa x-axis, then yung mga point na yon ang tinatawag nating intercept. Okay? Or x-intercept. So yan, for example, itong parabola na to tumama sa x-axis dito sa point na to, itong kulay green. Itong dalawang kulay green na to ang tinatawag nating x-intercept. Para daw makuha ang x-intercept, ang y papalitan lang natin ng 0. Okay, sa equation, ang y papalitan natin ng 0, then isosolve natin yon para makuha kung ano ang x-intercept. Now, let's go to y-intercept. Now, when we say y-intercept, these are the point or points where the parabola intersected the y-axis. Okay, so ito naman, kung kanina yung x-intercept, in-intersect ng parabola yung x-axis, dito naman sa y-intercept, in-intersect ng parabola ang y-axis. So, ito yung y-axis natin. Ito yung parabola, yung kulay red. Yung kulay red tumama sa y-axis sa ditong point na to. Itong color purple. Okay, then itong color purple na point na ito, ang tawag natin dyan ay y-intercept. Now, to get the y-intercept, ang gagawin naman natin, gagawin nating 0 ang x or isa-substitute natin ang 0 doon sa x para makuha natin yung y-intercept. Okay? Now, let's go to the steps. In graphing quadratic function. So, ito yung pinaka-main lesson natin. Steps in graphing quadratic function. Okay, so let's have the first step. The first step is to find the axis of symmetry. Now, to get the axis of symmetry, we're going to use the equation x equals negative b all over 2a. So that is the first step. Kukunin muna natin yung axis of symmetry using the formula x equals negative b over 2a. Second, solve for y by substituting x to the given equation or function. Third step, construct a table of values. Fourth step, plot the points x, y, or h, k from your table of values. So, pagkatapos natin gumawa ng table of values, ipa-plot naman natin yung mga points na yon na makikita natin sa table of values na ginawa natin. Na ipa-plot natin sa Cartesian plane. Next is draw the parabola by connecting the points using a curved line. So after natin ma-plot yung points, pagko-connect-connectahin natin yon, no? Using a curved line or curved path. Okay, now let's go to examples. So for example, you are asked to graph the function of x in x squared plus 4x plus 5. Again, we're going to graph the function of x in x squared plus 4x plus 5. So as you can see, this is a quadratic function kasi meron tayong x squared term at meron tayong y. By the way, f of x is just the same as y. Okay? Parehas lang yun ang y. Now let's click on the first example. Okay. So according to the first step, and before we go to the first step pala, Let's identify the values of coefficient. So for the value of A, we have 1. For the value of B, we have 4. And for the value of C, we have 5. Okay? Now let's go to the first step. Step 1 is to find the axis of symmetry. No? Gagamitin natin yung x equals negative b over 2a. So the value of b is positive 4 while the value of a is positive 1. So we have x equals negative 4 over 2 times 1. So again, si b pinalitan lang natin ng 4. Ayan. Si a pinalitan natin ng 1. So ayan. Then let's multiply 2 and positive 1. Okay, so that is 2. Then copy the numerator, which is 4. Okay, so we have x equals negative 4 over 2. Then let's simplify negative 4 over 2. Kapag sinimplify natin yan, that will give us negative 2. Okay, so the axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2. So dito dadaan ang ating axis of symmetry. By the way, class, when we say axis, it is a line. Okay, line yun. So, ito. Okay, now nakuha na natin yung axis of symmetry. Now, step 2, solve for y by substituting x to the given equation or function. So, etong x na to, isa-substitute natin yan sa f of x equals x squared plus 4x plus 5. So, again, the given f of x equals x squared plus 4x plus 5. And since x is equal to negative 2, then the function of x, no? Ito, papalitan natin ng negative 2. Yung x, papalitan natin ng negative 2. So, we have negative 2 raised to 2 plus 4 times negative 2 plus 5. Okay? Then after that, ito naman, negative 2. Okay, yung negative 2 raised to 2, i-evaluate natin to. No? I-evaluate, oh, sorry. I-evaluate natin yung negative 2 raised to 2. Okay, so that will give us positive 4. Next is, imumultiply naman natin yung positive 4 sa negative 2. Positive 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Then copy plus 5. Okay, so we have 4 minus 8 plus 5. Okay, now, evaluate naman natin yung 4 minus 8. 4 minus 8 is equal to negative 4. Then copy plus 5. Negative 4 plus 5 is equal to positive 1. So therefore, now the function of x in x squared plus 4x plus 5 if x is equal to negative 2 is positive 1. Okay? So ito na yun. Kapag daw sinubstitute natin si negative 2 dito sa function na to, ang makukuha natin ay positive 1. So therefore, the vertex is at negative 2, 1. So again, this is x and this is y. So mauuna muna yung x which is negative 2 and then the value of y which is positive 1. So nakuha na natin yung coordinates ng vertex natin. Okay? Then after that, pwede na tayong gumawa ng table of values. Okay, so to construct a table of values, input 3 numbers before the value of x. So ano yung x natin? Negative 2. Okay, so yun yung x natin, negative 2. So mag-input tayo ng 3 numbers before negative 2. And what are those numbers before negative 2? We have negative 3, negative 4, and then negative 5. Okay, so after that, 3 numbers naman after the value of x. Going to input 3 values or 3 numbers after the value of x. So we have negative 1, 0, and positive 1. Then after that, ayan, second part of step 3, we have to substitute the value of x, no? First row. Ito, negative 5 hanggang positive 1. Yun yung mga isa-substitute natin for this function to get the values of y. Okay? So let's test the numbers on the right side of negative 2. So it means we're going to use negative 1, 0, and positive 1. Okay? So let's test the function of x in x squared plus 4x plus 5 if x is equal to negative 1. Same process, yung x, papalitan lang natin ng negative 1. So we have f of negative 1 equals negative 1 raised to 2 plus 4 times negative 1 plus 5. Okay, wala tayong ilalagay na negative 1 sa tabi ni 5 because 5 is constant. Then, f of negative 1 is equal to negative 1 raised to 2 is equal to, negative 1 raised to 2 is equal to positive 1. Positive 4 times negative 1 is equal to negative 4, and then copy positive 5. Then copy again f of negative 1. 1 minus 4 is equal to negative 3. Then bring down plus 5. Negative 3 plus 5 is equal to positive 2. So it means that the function of x in x squared plus 4x plus 5 if x is equal to negative 1 is positive 2. Okay? Then isusulat naman natin si positive 2. We're going to write positive 2 under negative 1. Okay? So dito. Susulat natin yung nakuha natin dito under negative 1. Okay? Kung ano yung sinolve natin kanina. Okay, next. Let's solve for the function of x in x squared plus 4x plus 5 if x is equal to 0. So f of 0 is equal to 0 raised to 2 plus 4 times 0 plus 5. 0 raised to 2 is equal to 0. 4 times 0 is equal to plus 0 plus 5. Now, copy f of 0. So we have here 0 plus 0 plus 5. Obviously, 5 na lang ang sagot na. Okay, so therefore, the function of x in x squared plus 4x plus 5 if x is equal to 0 is positive 5. So again, if x is equal to 0, so kapag ang x daw equal to 0, ano si 5? Ito ay y-intercept. So yung 5 ilalagay natin under 0. Okay? Ayan, meron na tayong y-intercept. So 0, 5, no? Okay, next. The last one. Last one for the right side. Let's test the function of x in x squared plus 4x plus 5 if x is equal to positive 1. So f of 1 equals 1 raised to 2 plus 4 times 1 plus 5. Okay? Then f of 1 is equal to 1 raised to 2. 1 raised to 2 is equal to positive 1. Then 4 times 1 plus hindi yan minus. 4 times 1 is positive 4. Then plus 5. Okay? 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. Then copy plus 5. 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. So therefore, the function of x in x squared plus 4x plus 5 if x is equal to 1 is positive 10. So ang ilalagay naman natin dito ay positive 10. Okay? Now, let's go to the other half of our table. Let's solve the numbers on the left side of negative 2. So what are those numbers? We have negative 3, negative 4, and negative 5. So same process. Yung x, papalitan lang natin ng negative 3. So we have negative 3 here raised to 2 plus 4 times negative 3 plus 5. Negative 3 raised to 2 is equal to positive 9. Positive 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. then copy plus 5. 9 minus 12 is equal to negative 3, then copy plus 5. Negative 3 plus 5 is equal to positive 2. So therefore, the function of x in x squared plus 4x plus 5 if x is equal to negative 3 is positive 2. So ang ilalagay naman natin sa baba ni negative 3 ay positive 2. So class, I would like you to observe the patterns mamaya. Okay? So we have here, if x is equal to negative 4, then substitute natin sa function na to. So we have negative 4 raised to 2 plus 4 times negative 4 plus 5. Then solve for negative 4 raised to 2. Negative 4 raised to 2 is equal to positive 16. Positive 4 times negative 4 is equal to negative 16. Then plus 5. 16 minus 16 is equal to 0. Then bring down 5. 0 plus 5 is equal to positive 5. So f of negative 4 in x squared plus 4x plus 5 is positive 5. Okay. Now let's use let's test x equals negative 5. So same process, lahat ng x papalitan natin ng negative 5. So we have negative 5 raised to 2 plus 4 times negative 5 plus 5. Negative 5 raised to 2 is equal to positive 25. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Bring down plus 5. 25 minus 20 is equal to 5. Then copy plus 5. 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. Okay? So 2, susulat natin yan dito. 5, isusulat natin yan dito. And yung 10, isusulat naman natin under negative 5. Okay? So class, meron kayong mapapansing pattern dito. Ano? Same with sorry. Same with dun sa previous na slide. So we also got the same answers. Now we have 2, 5, and 10. But this time, napalitan lang yung order nila. Okay. So from left to right, dito we have 2, 5, and 10. Dito naman, from right to left, we have 2, 5, and 10. Okay? So meron technique dito mamaya. Okay, now na-complete na natin yung table natin. No? Na-complete. After completing the table of values, we can now graph the function by plotting these points. So lahat ng ito ipa-plot natin sa Cartesian plane. Okay? So now let's go to the graphing. Let's graph the function of x in x squared plus 4x plus 5. So again, we have the table of values. First, we have the vertex, which is negative 2, 1. So hanapin natin yung negative 2, 1. Okay, negative 2 sa x, so ito yon. Then we have positive 1, ito yon. So dito dapat sila mag-meet. Okay, so nandyan yung point. Negative 2, then 1 naman sa y. Okay? Next, let's plot, draw pala muna natin yung axis of symmetry. So this is our axis of symmetry, itong pink na line. Okay, now let's plot negative 1, 2. So negative 1, 2 is here. Then let's have 0, positive, 0, 5. So ito yun. Then we have 1, 10. So ito yan. Okay. Then the other half. Okay, so we have negative 3, positive 2. We also have negative 4, positive 5. And negative 5, positive 10. Okay, so yan. After plotting these points, magdodraw naman tayo ng parabola. So yan. Okay, so ito na. Ito na yung graph ng function or ito na yung graph ng x squared plus 4x plus 5. Okay, so ito na yun. Now, let's go to the second example. So, kung makikita nyo pala, okay, before we go to the second example, no, I would like you to observe, ito yung y-intercept natin, which is 0, 5. At kung mapapansin nyo, wala tayong x-intercept. No? The parabola did not intersected the x-axis. Kaya wala tayong x-intercept. Tapos, yung opening ng parabola natin ay upward. No? Upward since a is equal to positive 1. Okay? Now, sige, let's go to the second example. Let's graph y equals negative 2x squared plus 4x minus 7. Okay, so we have the given equation or function. Identify natin yung a, b, and c. A is equal to negative 2, b is equal to positive 4, and c is equal to negative 7. Then solve for x equals negative b over 2a. So yung b, papalitan natin ng positive 4. Yung a naman, yung a, papalitan natin ng negative 2. So we have negative 4 over 2 times negative 2. Now let's multiply 2 and negative 2. 2 and negative 2 is equal to negative 4. Then copy the numerator 4. Okay, then i-divide naman natin yung 4 and negative 4. I-simplify muna natin yung 4 and negative 4. Okay? Kapag sinimplify natin yan, that will be equal to negative 1. So we have negative multiplied by negative 1. Negative times negative 1 is equal to positive 1. So therefore, the axis of symmetry of y equals negative 2x squared plus 4x minus 7 is x equals 1. Okay, so after natin makuha yung x equals 1, now let's solve for y by substituting x to the given equation. So again, we have the given equation y equals negative 2x squared plus 4x minus 7. Okay, and since x is equal to 1, then y is equal to negative 2 times 1 raised to 2 plus 4 times 1 minus 7. So same process. Yung x, pinalitan natin ng positive 1. Okay, kaya naging 1 raised to 2 and 4 times 1 ito. Then let's evaluate 1 raised to 2 before multiplying it to negative 2. Okay, so 1 raised to 2 is equal to 1. Then copy negative 2. Okay. Then multiply naman natin. Let's multiply 4 and 1. 4 times 1 is equal to 4. Then copy negative 7. Okay, then after that, we are now ready to multiply negative 2 and positive 1. Negative 2 times positive 1 is equal to negative 2. Then copy plus 4 and negative 7. Now, let's evaluate negative 2 and positive 4. Kapag in-evaluate natin yan, it means we're going to subtract 4 by 2. Okay, so negative 2 plus 4 is equal to positive 2. Then copy negative 7. 2 minus 7 is equal to negative 5. So therefore, y is equal to negative 5. Therefore, again, in y equals negative 2x squared plus 4x minus 7, if x is equal to 1, y will be equal to negative 5. So now the vertex the vertex is at 1, negative 5. Okay? So, yun yung vertex natin. Again. Ayan. The vertex is at 1, negative 5. So, we have the x and we have the y. Okay, now let's go to the second slide. Okay, so step 3 is to construct a table of values. So again, we have to input 3 numbers before the value of x. So ano yung tatlong number before 1? We have 0, then -1, and -2. Then on the right side, we have 2, +2, +3, and +4. Okay? Now let's solve for the value of y. Now by substituting x. Okay. So, doon muna tayo sa left side because mas madali itong isolve compared dito. Ano? Because since we have 0 and -1, so mas madali ito. Okay. So if x is equal to 0, then y minus 2x squared plus 4x minus 7 will be equal to, yung x, papalitan muna natin ng 0. So y is equal to -2 times 0 raised to 2 plus 4 times 0 minus 7. Okay? 0 raised to 2 is equal to 0. No? Etong buong class ito, no? Classmate. Etong mga numbers na to, since meron tayong 0 dito, si -2, kapag minultiply natin yan dito, magiging 0 na rin yan. 4 minus 0 is also 0. So, matitira na lang is -7. Okay, so if x is equal to 0, then y equals -2x squared plus 4x minus 7 will become -7. Then, ilalagay natin yan dito sa baba ni 0. Next, let's have -1. So let's have y equals -2 times -1 raised to 2 plus 4 times -1 minus 7. -1 raised to 2 is equal to +1. Then later on, i-multiply natin yun kay -2. But let's do this first. 4 times -1 is equal to -4. Then bring down -7. -2 times +1 is equal to -2. Then bring down -4 and -7. -2 and -4 is equal to -6. Pinag-add natin kasi parehas lang naman sila ng sign. No? Parehas silang negative, so pinag-add natin. Then copy -7. Now, kung makikita nyo ulit, si -6 from -2 and -4 and si -7 from the previous step, parehas sila uli ng sign. So, ang gagawin natin dyan, ipag-add natin uli yan. -6 minus 7 will be equal to -13. Again, -6 plus -7 is equal to -13. Then, ilalagay natin yan sa baba ni -1. Now, let's go to the last one. If x is equal to -2. So, again, yung x, papalitan natin ng -2. So, we have -2 times -2 raised to 2. Plus 4 times -2, then copy -7. -2 raised to 2 is equal to +4. No? Then again, later on, i-multiply natin yan kay -2. But first, let's multiply 4 and -2. 4 times -2 is equal to -8, then copy -7. -2 times -4 is equal to -8. Then copy -8 and -7. -8 and -8. So again, parehas negative. Therefore, ipag-add natin. -8 plus -8 is equal to -16. Then copy -7. And again, parehas sila ng sign. Again, ipag-add natin yan. Ha? So, -16 plus -7 is equal to -23. So, therefore, if x is equal to -2, then y equals -2x squared plus 4x minus 7 is -23. Okay, so dito class, yung nagko-combine lang natin. Kapag magko-combine ka ng integers na magkapareho ng sign, i-add mo yun. Okay, i-add mo. Okay, now let's go to the other half of the table. Sa ito yung pinagbabawal ng technique class. Para makuha mo or para malaman mo kung ano ilalagay kay 2, no, sa baba ni 2, titignan mo lang kung ano yung number na nasa left side ng vertex natin sa y. Okay? Since ito yung vertex natin, -5, ano yung nasa left side niya? -7. So therefore, ang ilalagay mo dito ay -7. Dito naman, -13. Dito naman, -23. Ayan. So, yan yung technique, no? Since symmetrical naman yung parabola, therefore, dapat itong nasa left side natin ay kaparehas na itong nasa right side. Okay? So, again ulitin ko. Dahil symmetrical ang parabola natin, or ang parabola is symmetrical, dapat kung ano yung nasa left side, yun din yung nasa right side ng vertex. Okay? Sa y lang yun. Kung ano yung nasa left side dito sa row ng y, yun din dapat ang nasa right side dito sa row ng y. Okay? So, para kung nagdududa kayo, ito ang proof. So, kapag sinubstitute natin si 2, again, yung magiging y natin ay equals sa -7. Okay? Then, kapag sinubstitute naman natin yung +3, yung y natin is magiging equal sa -13. Then, kapag sinubstitute naman natin yung 4, yung magiging y natin ay equal sa -23. So, halos magkakaparehas lang sila, di ba? So, yan yung tip para hindi ka mag-solve ng 6 na beses. No? Instead, gagawin lang natin kalahati. 3 lang muna yung solve mo para makompleto mo na agad yung table of values. Okay, now nakompleto na natin yung table of values, pwede na tayong mag-graph ulit. Okay, so ito naman yung graph ng y equals -2x squared plus 4x minus 7. So again, let's have the vertex 1, -5. So nasaan ang 1? Ito ang 1, ito naman ang -5. Dito sila mag-meet. Okay? So, yan. Then again, yung pink na line, ito yung axis of symmetry natin. Now, after natin makuha yung vertex, let's plot the other points. Let's have 0, -7. So, ito yon. Then, let's have -1, -13. So, nasan kaya yon? Okay, nandito yung -1, -13. So, ito yung -1. Ito naman yung -13. So, dito sila nag-meet. Okay, next, let's have -2 and -23, sorry. So, dito naman yan mag-meet. Okay? Then the other one, the other half, we have 2 and -7. So, dito yung point. Then, 3 and -13. Ayan. And 4, -23. So, dito naman. Okay, so kung makikita nyo, ibang-iba yung second example natin doon sa first example. Okay, now let's draw the parabola. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung parabola natin opens downward. No? It opens downward. Mali pala yung equation dito. Sorry class, this is negative mali yung equation dito. So, makikita nyo, the parabola opens downward since yung a natin is equal to -2. Okay? So, that's it. No, ito yung summary. Ayan. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching.